Okay, so today we're going to talk about mites and how to treat that. I have a variety of items right here in front of us, and one of them is going to be bleach. And then this Reptispray kills mites on reptiles. And then you're definitely going to need this. This is the most important thing. And then you're just going to want a whole bunch of paper towels, like a shitload of paper towels. All of my animals currently live in a rack system. This is my rather crappy rack system. Well, I've sprayed the inside of this tub with bleach while I have some of my animals soaking outside. You're just going to want to wipe this down with the bleach inside. Alright, so after you've wiped down everything with bleach and stuff, the first step was to put the animals, I'm soaking 2 of my larger ball pythons, put them inside of a plastic bin and fill it up with water. Now, really the height of the water doesn't matter in this situation because I'm trying to drown the mites, and I'm going to leave them in here for 30 minutes to an hour. And trust me, they're going to be fine. This thing's kind of funky. Also, make sure when you have a container like this that you have one that's lockable. It doesn't have to be this kind specifically, but you could have some that lock on the sides as well. Just as long as it locks so you can keep the animals contained, and also make sure you drill holes in the side. Alright, so a way to tell that you have mites. You want to check the water bowl first. This is the biggest thing. Now you can see this kind of black speck that's floating around in there. That right there is a mite. That in particular has kind of got this silver overlay and it's kind of engorged, so it's a lot bigger. There's a smaller one in the bottom, but yeah, that's how you identify whether or not you have them. This is a pretty mild case. Usually there'll be a lot more in here. I'm just happy I caught it when I did. While we're on the topic of objects inside of the tank and things like that, if you have any kind of like wood decor or anything like that, please remove it and boil it if you can and let it sit in bleach. You can't slack on these things. They're hard. And if you have like wood substrate or anything like that, I recommend you just take that out as well. And you want to go through your whole collection if you do find mites, because you can't slack on it. If there's one, there's probably about 1 billion more. So it's one of those things. Also, when you're taking the wood and stuff out, try to put something down that's easy to recognize them on, like paper towels. Granted, it can be expensive for large collections. Another thing that is good is newspaper. They'll be fine on that for a while, and it's easier to spot them if you do see them inside the enclosure still, so you can do other treatments. Back to the topic of soaking your reptiles. Now, since we are soaking these guys, you're going to want to massage through the scales, because the mites can hide underneath the scales and everything like that, and it makes it kind of hard to drown them completely. So you kind of got to rub them down a little bit. Granted, they don't always like it. But you can kind of already see some floating at the surface of the water. Maybe you guys can't, but I can, because I'm kind of using a shitty phone camera at the moment. But you definitely want to kind of rub through their scales and massage the scales kind of somewhere in between there. So yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it now. If you're letting them soak, you want to let them soak for around 30 minutes to an hour in the water. And then after that, we're going to use the reptile spray, and we're going to let them soak 30 minutes in that as well. Back to my crappy rack system. Okay. So basically what I did was I took this reptile prevenamite spray and I went through everything. I sprayed the whole thing. You want to make sure that you get every crease and crevice on this thing, because let me tell you, it's a pain in the ass. That's why it's kind of a little bit easier if you're still on tanks and stuff like that. But they can burrow and get stuck inside of the wood, and I just have such a damaged kind of rack system right now. Hoping to upgrade that soon, by the way. And it's just something you have to do. You want to take every precaution you possibly can. Now this, I would not spray directly on the snakes at all. It can be damaging. I mean, if you smell it, you definitely wouldn't want to breathe it in or anything like that. So that's why I'm kind of doing this stuff kind of in an open space, in an open room. This is your topical spray. Now, this is what you can use. You could spray this on the snake, and what I like to do is I like to let them sit in it for like 30 minutes. You want to make sure that they absorb it in. You want to massage it through the scales just like I did in the water, just to make sure that it gets everywhere that it needs to go. This should be available for most pet stores, but I go to reptile stores in particular that will sell it. This might be a little bit harder to find. You might have to order this online, in which I might leave a link in the subscription. Back to our bin. They're judging me.
What are we on video?
Yeah, you're gonna be on YouTube, gonna be famous.
Want to take off the shirt?
No.
Get more ratings.
Oh yeah? Do it. Alright, so basically we're going back to the bin, and we want to kind of spray this all over it. Now, you can kind of see all the fumes kind of coming up around. Like I said, you kind of want to have an open window when you do it, because it is smelly. Now, this is after the bleach and after you've rinsed it and like dried it and stuff like that. So, also, you kind of got to shake this before you use it. So I just laid down some paper towels. It's kind of like, I like to get it on the corners, so if they take a shit, it's not gonna be all over the side of the fucking container. And you want to spray that as well.
Poop, not shit.
I can see. Alright, so for the next tasks, now that they've sat here for a good 30 minutes, this. Now I'm gonna dump out all the water, and they're gonna just sit in this for a good 30 minutes. Alright, now that that's empty, just gonna heavily spray these guys down with this stuff. Try to kind of avoid the eyes, but just heavily get it in there, if it would work. Ah, there we go. Yeah, this is my spider and my pastel ball python, if anybody's curious. Kind of gonna move them around a little bit. It's a little hard one-handed, but I want to get it on this guy's belly as well. Kind of rub it in. They'll kind of get this oily feel when they're kind of saturated with it, which is always good. Just kind of want to massage it in. Trying to hatch the escape. This one is. Stay down. Oh, there goes that one. They're funny. Alright, so they are sprayed and ready to sit here for a little while. Alright, so back to my rack. This is going to be their bin that they're going to be going in. And, well, I still got to treat those two, my blue-eyed Lucies, and this guy up there. And then I treated my Dummerals boa a few minutes ago, and I think they're the worst that could have it, honestly, because I don't know what it is about their scales, but they freaking love getting under boa scales. It's bad. They get all over it. So, as soon as I seen like just one on my little leucistic ball python, I checked my boa immediately. Like, and as soon as I got him out, like, I could see him crawling on my hands and everything like that. I just, nope. I said, today's the day. Gotta get rid of them. Can't slack on these things at all. But anyways, I took out most of the pans that were in here that I'm not using. Right? And I put them in a pile. Alright, so that's a pile of pans. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to set those outside while I clean them very thoroughly and everything before I bring them back in at all. Because they get on everything. They really do. Alright, these are my little baby blue-eyed Lucies. Even though you can't really see anything on them, I don't know, that's not one, okay. But, I took them out, and I was just looking at them, because that's, you know, you take them out every now and then, you look at your animals, make sure everything's okay for this exact reason. And, took me not less than 2 seconds, because he's like solid white, to notice like one just hiding under his scales. And that's when I said, oh shit, probably got a lot more, and I did, so, yeah. This whole topic of, like, you know, where the mites come from, and where they originate, and what they cause, and things like that, it's, they come from, you know, an infested animal, or an infested object that the animal must have had before you. That's why I constantly recommend, you know, boiling anything before you use it, yada yada. I'm kind of a neat freak about it, I just hate parasites so much, I'm sorry, but, you can get them anywhere. Unfortunately for me, I work at a reptile shop, and I probably most likely got them from there since they've been battling them for a little while now. And since they have so many reptiles, it gets hard to go through every single one, so the battle's been constant. Which is why I recommend you stay on top of it, and you just don't hesitate when you see them. I try to get it out of the way the day that I see it, and I continue my treatments, you know, every week. So, unfortunately, no, this is not the first time I've had to deal with it, but I know where it's coming from, so I'm going to try to prevent this from happening again. A good way to do that is, like, if you come from a reptile shop, where you've been handling animals that you might not know have been infested by them, well, just kind of like wash your hands, wash your clothes before you go back to your own. It's kind of like you just gotta be on top of it, unless you want to deal with it. And honestly, it's not that big of a deal because many people go through the same thing, especially that own a variety of reptiles. You might never run into the problem, but odds are if you're gonna own more than 1 or 2 or 3, you're gonna have an issue somewhere down the line, honestly. Snake mites can cause a variety of issues, so it's good to keep an eye on your animals after you've noticed an issue. As far as snake mites go, usually you won't have problems, but you always could because they can carry things from other animals, and you just kind of want to take the best chance possible with them. So honestly, I'd recommend if you notice anything weird, you know, you definitely want to take your animal to a vet. But so far, my animals seem to be doing pretty good. They eat, they're healthy. My pastel and my spider that are outside are actually a breeding pair currently, and they're doing pretty well themselves, so I'm not too worried. Unless I see something that happens, I'm probably not going to freak out like that, because I have around 6 ball pythons, and then the rest are other snakes, but I still have a lot, so this is just kind of something I caught spur of the moment. It could have been a lot worse. Sorry if I'm rambling, guys, because this is my first video, honestly, that I put up here. And I plan to do many more because I think that there should be a way, you know, to educate people on certain issues that they will run into eventually with their hobby, their pets, you know, even their job, if that's what this is for you. It's just something that I'd help prevent somewhere down the line. I'm just hoping anyways, but yeah. Around 10 minutes in, you definitely want to go through and massage your snakes just to make sure that, you know, you're getting everything like I said previously. And I'm probably going to wrap this video up here because I basically explained everything that I possibly can. And these guys are going to sit for a little while after I'm done, you know, doing everything that I have to. But I got a lot of snakes to go through still. So I hope this little guide here helped you guys, and well, see you on the next one.